It's been 3 weeks since the outbreak of the novel coronavirus, which was first detected in Wuhan, China. Population 11 million. To date, about 560 persons, primarily the vulnerable older population whose immune systems were low, have died as a result of the virus. But there are many more who are recovering with medication and millions who have managed to take measures to prevent contracting the virus. While the rest of the world is in a frenzy, in mainland China, the government has built a new hospital in days and in the respective provinces has imposed travel bans while businesses have shut down in an effort to prevent the spread to other areas.
The majority of the virus itself has actually been affected within Wuhan, not so much outside of that province. So granted, what the government has done is that they have basically shut down every single province. There's not too much transportation within each province because they're trying to actually contain the virus. What the government has basically been advising people to do is to wear a mask when you're outside. You're also supposed to wash your hands thoroughly, ideally every hour or so. Not to have much contact with people, and also not to be in areas that have too many people. There's large public areas.
Lilian Molina has been living in China for over a decade. Originally from Belize City, Molina first traveled to study in Taiwan back in 2004 and now resides in Shanghai, China, where she recently opened a restaurant, 501 Eats, that features cuisine from across the Caribbean, including Belize. She's the owner and head chef. Molina says that the outbreak is creating panic and is having an adverse effect on businesses, tourism, and other sectors.
People are now scared to actually leave homes, right? So the way how it's affected is not just my restaurant, but also many businesses in China, is that we're not able to conduct business the way that we were. The F&B industry in China is a very large industry. There's a lot of different restaurants from different types of cuisines. Unfortunately, for us, the way how I've been affected is that, I'm not getting as much people coming into the restaurant. Or, in this case, the management of the building where my restaurant is actually located has requested that we shut down instead due to the fact that they do not want to put anyone in danger, right? So yes, for me, it's affected me a lot in terms of my business. It's affected me in terms of the finances that I'm supposed to be getting from the business itself, having to pay salaries, having to pay rent and such. Of course, it affects greatly, but it's not just me. It's so many other industries as well. When this entire news broke out, what happened was that, Chinese people will tend to go back home to the province where they're originally from to spend time with their families. But because they're there, they're not able to enter back into Shanghai in this case, which is where I'm located. Wow. So it's caused a little bit of an issue in terms of transportation. It's caused issues in terms of people wanting to go back to work. But also because the government is trying to make sure that this virus is not spread, what they've done is that they've actually extended the Spring Festival this year to an additional 2 weeks.
A lot of international flights going in and out of China have been cancelled, and there are many countries that have put in place screening to those who have traveled to China or other countries where the virus has been detected. The government of China has issued a statement to say that work is to resume on February 10th. Molina is also president of the Caribbean Association in China. She says that there are currently about 16 Belizeans living in that Asian country.
I also manage a group of the Belizeans based in China. There's many of us, there's only around 16 so far that I'm aware of. Mix of students, a mix of business people, and people who are also just living there. So in regards to how we are as Belizeans, we're actually doing okay.
The novel coronavirus has been categorized as a zoonotic disease. That is, it jumps from animals to humans. And scientists have linked its cause to the consumption of wildlife such as bats and snakes. Being that she is in the food and beverage industry, we asked Molina about this.
To be honest, this is the first time that I had heard of any place or any market that's actually selling any of these types of animals. I'm not, I believe, or in fact, I'm pretty sure that this was actually an illegal sell. This originally started from a market from a vendor who was not selling legally these animals. First of all, these were not legal animals for him to sell, and this is where the outbreak came. So I think at this point right now, I have been living in China for about 15 years, almost 16 years now, and I've never come across in any cuisine, in the cuisine that China has, any of these animals at all. I have never been offered this type of food before, And I think that the panic and hysteria that's happening is fueled a lot by racism and also xenophobia.
Duane Moody for News 5.